road's starting to get really icy. I don't want to come up on a piece of really icy section and then not be able to turn around. It's pretty high up in elevation. There's snow everywhere. Ice, all the puddles and little lakes and stuff are all frozen over. So it must be pretty high up right here, about 8,000 feet, I guess. Drz400's doing really well. Ordered a new rear tire today, just like this one, but bigger, larger. They make two sizes in this. This size and then the larger size. So hopefully this will work. The one I've got coming, because this one is starting to wear down a little bit. I think once they reach a certain point, they really start going fast. So we'll have to turn around and go back. Drove it back last night, 12 miles or so like that. It was really sketchy on that gravel road because the tire was doing this. Had very little control over the front end, very little on the gravel road. On the pavement, which I think is about 5 miles on the pavement, I just sat back on the back of the seat, and I don't think I went more than 20 miles an hour on the way back on the pavement. On the dirt, it was like 10 miles an hour. It was sketchy, and then you couldn't see. I had to constantly switch between the high beams to see any distance and the low beams to see in front of you. But you couldn't combine them to get an accurate picture of what was going on. It was either right in front of you or in the distance. Either one. So it's obvious we have to start doing some maintenance around here. Definitely got to get Blue Truck going, and I need to pull it up here somewhere up here. I was gonna pull it over here next to my storage unit, but I'm glad I didn't, because they installed another storage container yesterday. I'm glad I didn't put it over there, so I'm gonna put it over here this way out of the way. So that's where the owner, he said somewhere up there, so he wasn't specific. But I have to take the oil cooler off, and it is right here. I'm touching it right there. That's not a good sign. It being loose like that. So I hope I can drive it up there without it gushing oil all the way up there. That's my concern. So definitely gonna put something under it and start it up, and then not let it idle. Just go ahead and pull it up there. I'm going to, of course, find my area where I'm gonna put it, and then put a big tarp down. I've got a couple of really big tarps. They have little pinholes here and there, so that'll be a good surface to work off of, laying, sit and lay on the ground. Not gonna be much laying because this thing's way too high to work up under it like that. But to crawl up under it and everything, you're not gonna be in the dirt. And then two, anything that drips or whatever will be on that tarp. Nothing touched the surface. So I appreciate him letting me do that. So make sure that I take care of his property. But first, we're gonna have to change that tube. I'm fairly certain it won't hold any air at all. I tried to air it up out on the trail, and it wouldn't hold any air at all. So it was either taking the whole thing apart right there, or try to drive it back to 12 miles or so. And at the time, trying to drive it back, that was the right choice. Because these tires, I know, they have a really stiff sidewall. And this is a dirt bike. It doesn't have a whole lot of weight on the front end. And if you can move your weight to the rear, you can really... And you don't run much air in these tires anyway. You don't run even 10 pounds in there. Now the rear is a different story. And I've already got a new one coming. I wouldn't say this one's worn out, but it's gonna get there in the next 1,000 miles. So we've got us a new tire coming. It's a slightly larger size than this one. And you can see I've got plenty of room right here on both sides. But it's just a slightly larger tire. It's not a huge tire difference. This one is the 4 and 4.6. And this one will be the 130. I don't know what size the 4.6 is. Yeah, 4.6 by 18, and the next one is 130 by 80 by 18. Have no idea how to... But the one I ordered, I know, is a slightly larger tire. They only make this tire in 2 sizes in the rear. I don't know